So hello everybody, this is the IHE Eyecare webinar, giving you an introduction and an overview about the topics the team is working on. My name is Scherer. I'm the technical co-chair of the technical committee with the IHE Eyecare, and with me is...
My name is Abdiel Marin, and I'm the CEO of EyeMD MR Healthcare Systems, but as it relates to IHE, I'm an IHE Eyecare Planning Committee and Technical Committee member. I've been a part of IHE for a few years now, was integral into the development of the core eyecare workflow, which then turned into the unified eyecare workflow, which we'll talk more about this in a little bit. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to maybe answering some questions you may have about the towards the end, answering any questions you might have towards this. But really, the whole purpose of this is to give you a quick introduction to the available profiles, kind of a little brief history about them, and kind of what led to the development of them, and how we anticipate that to be used in the future.
Okay, and also with us is Don Fonseca. He will join at the end for the question and answer session. He is a consultant to the team. Let's go to the first slide, where you will see a short summary and introduction about IHE. IHE is an initiative by healthcare professional and industry members, and the goal is just to improve the overall work together in a healthcare department. It goes all the way back to 1997, where radiologists and IT experts did start to form IHE, and over the time it did grow and more specialties were added so that it is today used in a lot of different environments in healthcare. Basically, IHE looks into the real world and identifies processes and defines how these processes should be handled with the users and the systems, and gives them technical guidelines for the manufacturers to implement, as well as to the users to use the stuff. The backbone of this work is that IHE is looking into existing work, many standards, and adapt those standards, defines how those standards should be used to fulfill the specific needs. And such a description is then called an integration profile. The IHE itself is sponsored by the Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society, also known as HIMSS, and the Radiological Society of North America, also known as RSNA. In 2005, finally, the AO did join the IHE effort, as it was recognized how beneficial the IHE approach is. So clinicians and vendors in the eye care field in ophthalmology can adapt the IHE to the specific needs of the eye care enterprise. So the AO is recommending clinicians and vendors to implement the profile so that the workflow, the efficiency, and the patient security in the medical lane gets enhanced as max as possible from a technical point of view. Also, part of the IHE work is to provide vendors the ability to test the products, at least for the aspect of working together. There are events that are called Connecticon. Currently, that is not further sponsored by the AO, although the slide is saying so. It was sponsored through the last years. In the coming years, we are looking into possibilities to get together what the AO provided for the future. The same is valid for the interoperability showcase that was used with the AO conference to have vendors participate and demonstrate the interoperability to the public. Also, that needs to be resolved. If we look at the basics, there are currently 4 standards that the work of the IHE Eyecare team is based on. We have HL7 version 2.x that is widely used to communicate administrative and non-imaging data, such as patient demographic, appointment schedules, etc., etc. We do have DICOM, what again is used to communicate then images and other high sophisticated data, very specialized data. We have HL7 version 3 CDA that gets used to communicate complete patient histories, or also the summary of an encounter between healthcare enterprises, where the first 2 are mostly used within healthcare enterprises. And last but not least, we have Joya. That's an XML file-based specification that deals with the data exchange between EHR and refractive devices. The IHE framework itself tries to define how different kind of IT systems in a healthcare environment get involved in the clinical workflow. So what the IHE teams are doing is they're looking at certain use cases that they identify that are very common in the real world, and then they abstract it and define what is called an integration profile. The integration profile then again is made up of actors, where the actors you can think about participants in this workflow. That can be systems, that can be users, etc. The transactions, as the most detailed, most low-level definition, are now defining how these actors interact to fulfill certain subtasks in the workflow that the profile is describing. As a result, you will find a matrix that is defining functionalities and communication abilities between all these actors. So meaning if a vendor is providing some kind of functionality, they have to get to know what kind of functionality and communication abilities they need to provide to integrate with the IHE definition. Currently, the IHE Eyecare defines the following integration profiles. We have the unified Eyecare workflow, Eyecare charge posting, Eyecare evidence document, and Eyecare displayable report. Then we have a lot of actors. If you dive into the documentation, you may go over them all. They are here just for reference, that you get an impression that a lot of stones are covered here. And finally, the transactions that you may look at and identify data points that would be communicated between the actors.